it's Shirley. I am currently in my second year of business school at Columbia, and I'm going to take you through what a typical day in my life looks like as a Columbia MBA. I'm in the middle of a really busy term. I just was not paying enough attention when I was signing up for my classes, and I'd signed up for way too many classes in B term, and so I have some really long days. I would say that this is not typical for an MBA. I just that was on me. I really messed up my schedule. And regardless, I honestly can't complain. Like, I have some long days, but we only have class Mondays through Thursdays, so Fridays are forever free. I mean, occasionally you'll have like a class or two, but that's really, really rare. We typically don't have any classes on Fridays. And the life of an MBA is pretty cushy. I mean, let's be honest, you don't go to business school to no one goes to business school to work hard. An MBA is really more about the people that you meet, the faculty, your peers, and the experiences that you have during that time. It's a really, really unique period of your time. And yes, you can definitely learn some things, especially if you decide to focus on the academics. There's a lot that you could learn academically, but I would just say that it's not the primary focus of an MBA, and I personally don't think it should be the primary focus. The Columbia Business School recently moved off the main Columbia campus to these beautiful new buildings in Manhattanville, which is one subway stop north of the main campus. So you guys will get to see the brand new facilities. They're really beautiful. They're like all glass, which I love. Columbia Business School has two main buildings, each named after a benefactor, Henry Kravis and David Geffen. This is Kravis Hall and this is Geffen Hall. Do I wish the new campus was lower and closer to downtown Manhattan? Of course, but the new facilities are really, really beautiful. It's like all glass buildings and it has an amazing, stunning view of the Hudson. You guys will see soon. I usually start my days around 7 a.m. when I have 8:30 a.m. classes. That's cutting it a little bit close because I have a really long commute, but I usually do make it to class generally on time, maybe a few minutes late. I always make some loose leaf tea in my infuser tumbler to bring to school with me. I used to skip breakfast because of intermittent fasting, but then I realized that I actually probably do better when I do have something to eat. But on days when I have 8:30 a.m.s, I just don't have the time and I don't want to get up earlier just for breakfast, so I usually just skip. My first class of the day is managerial negotiations. I actually really love this class. They teach you a bunch of concepts and frameworks for approaching negotiations, and then they incorporate a lot of opportunities to practice negotiations in the classroom with your classmates. Right now, we're working through a corporate litigation exercise, and we have the opportunity to work with law students from Columbia Law School to go through our negotiations. I find it to be a really interesting exercise because it resembles the type of litigation you'd experience in a real-world business environment, and it's kind of cool to be working with actual law students from Columbia Law School. So we both get to learn through the process. The dining hall at Kravis has a salad bar, a hot food bar, and food that's made to order. Today we had a local bakery visiting, which was an unexpected but pleasant surprise. They brought in a ton of freshly baked cakes and other delicious pastries. At 2 p.m. I have org change, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's a behavioral theory course, which is focused on how to implement effective organizational change. It's kind of one of those classes you just have to take at CBS. It basically is cult status, and the professor Todd Jick is legendary. I have a break from 3:30 to 6, and during that time I usually will catch up on some work, see some friends, and get dinner before my 6 p.m. class. Classes are either 1.5 hours or 3 hours long. I didn't get any footage of my last 6 p.m. class, but that is food entrepreneurship, which is a really fun class. The professor is just really well connected in the food industry, in the New York food scene, and he just brings in super interesting guest speakers every week to come talk to us. We've had the founders of Sweet Green, Blank Street Coffee, Union Square Hospitality, Commute, and other restaurant groups come in to talk to us, just to name a few. So it's definitely a really interesting class, more just to hear all the interesting stories of these founders and how they created their restaurant and food product businesses. Okay, today is Tuesday, which means it's my long day of classes. It's like 9:15 right now. Just finished up my last class of the day. Finally heading home. In my life at Columbia Business School, I take the train to class every day since we are fully in person. Actually, that's a lie. Some days I don't go, but most days I do because they're pretty strict about attendance. Columbia Business School actually moved off the main Columbia campus into Manhattanville. Look at these bright new shiny buildings. Taking the stairs to class because the elevators take forever and because exercise. Here is a very rare occasion on which I am actually early to class. And here I am, sitting in lecture, listening very intently. Sometimes we have special guest speakers and panelists come to our school. On this particular day, we saw Leah Yu. This is me trying to cram my homework in during my lunch break. There are two buildings. You can see the other building across the way. Heading to another class. I sometimes miss the main campus, but I do really love how the new buildings are all made of glass. It's just so bright and beautiful. And here's another afternoon class. This class is 3 hours long, but it's very interactive, at least on some days. So as you can see here, you definitely get the opportunity to meet with all your classmates. And now that it's spring semester, all the new trees have just started to bloom and it's really beautiful. And that's a wrap. Headed back home for the day.